Hello Internet, it's time for What a Wednesday Serial. I wasn't there last week. I actually went to the comic shop, biked through the rain to get my comics, but after reading everything, I didn't feel I had anything new to say and wasn't there. So, whatever. I'm gonna do this week, and hopefully something more will come out of it one way or another. I hope you're all checking out everyone's Watchmen video. I think half of my subscribers that still watch are part of it anyways, but there you go. It's been pretty much amazing video after amazing video, but I wanted to give a few special shout outs on that first. First off, clearly, I wanted to thank Ghost Critic for getting that whole thing together and organizing it. He took what would be a really menial and kind of painful task and would be enough of a bar to keep anyone from doing this just for the heck of it, and he just was on it, and kudos for that. Just awesome, man. Thanks. Also, his intro video and then the issue he's covered so far. I believe he's supposed to do a second one, but I'm not 100% right now. I'm sorry. But he did a great job looking at that and was far more level-headed than myself about that. Second, in some ways most importantly, I wanted to say Howler Mouse put out an amazing video. Like, everyone's doing a cool job. But what he did was beyond, above and beyond that. That was clearly something of passion, and I know I wasn't the only one who was kind of taken aback by that video, and that alone is kind of something worth watching, and he's just able to pull that out of the park. And I know he's going to be kind of doing a wrap-up as well, and he's done a lot of interesting things with a separate video talking about his feelings about the upcoming Watchmen minis beforehand. Go check that out too. He has a lot to say on Watchmen, and in a way that I can't. Speaking of ways that I can't, James Donnelly at the Shadow Gallery, I'm pretty sure that's how you say all that, he did an amazing job with the issue where Rorschach is psychoanalyzed, which is my favorite issue of that. In some ways, I beforehand wish I could have reviewed that issue because I might have been a little more up on it, but he brought in some things that I had no clue about, and I'm so glad that he covered that because he brought in things that just really blew me away. And I might have seen him floating around on YouTube before, but I mean, after that video, man, I'm totally on board checking out his videos. He's my new favorite YouTube reviewer that I didn't hear of prior, so check out his stuff. Basically, anyone who's doing this thing, you know, there's a reason they're on this thing, so check out that whole Watchmen video and subscribe to all of them because everyone's doing some cool stuff. Also, again, special notice to Minutia Minute, who, of course, did an awesome thing as well, and has recently talked about the Watchmen minis as well, and did this great video talking about how, you know, Watchmen, like everything else, he worded it different, but, you know, it's derivative of other things, and it exists in a long of understood superhero comics. And for that, you know, the fact that they're making new comics, whatever, and then he kind of sums it up by saying, despite all that, Watchmen's really amazing, and the stuff that they're putting out there is clearly just to cash in, which is kind of weird, because it's such a weird moment to cash in, right? Like, the movie was a while ago, and then, like, a year after that, people kind of felt safe from the idea that there would be Watchmen spin-offs, because, you know, like, the time had passed, and then DC's like, no, we're doing it now. Okay. Personally, I mean, I could do a whole video about it, but the truth is, I appreciate the craft of Watchmen. I don't care nearly enough about the whole thing to bother with most of these spin-offs. Maybe if I hear good things about it, I will pick up the trades afterwards. Maybe. But a lot of the talent that they have on it, too, are some people that I'm not such fans of, so whatever. But, yeah, no, so I'm just not gonna bother with it, plus they're at $3.99, so on that. Another quick note on the Watchmen sequels that is my opinion that I've heard no one else say, so I kind of want to put it out there. Whereas I can respect Alan Moore not wanting them to make sequels of his classic, I will say Alan Moore is a great creator. He's put out a lot of good work, but as of the last several years that I've heard, like any kind of comic book news really, I've never heard that man say anything positive about damn near anyone. He seemed like a bit of a curmudgeon, and I remember long ago reading some crazy wizard interview, and that's how you got your comic book news, about him being kind of a weird Satanist and in a way kind of putting out a weird vibe just to have that essence around him. So him naysaying it, I mean, if you're in the industry, I imagine that comes with the side of, yeah, but that's Alan Moore talking about his work, and we own the property, so which probably not the best angle to take either, but I kind of see both sides and don't respect either of them on this one. So, yeah, but it is a classic, and touching is touching, whatever. Lots of people have lots of opinions. I really, beyond what I've said, don't care. So Sleepy Reader, Dark Avenger, and Jay's Comics and others will be doing videos, and just check it out. This whole thing's been awesome, and as far as people talking about comics on YouTube, it's really cool to see people come together and do something like this. And I'm really hoping, you know, at least annually we can come together and do something like this again, but we'll see. Also, I kind of wanted to say, an apology to Howler Mouse. This is so much his thing, and I came kind of on the heels of that, and when I did my bit at the end of my video, I kind of misspoke and kind of overplayed the I'm not as big of a fan of Watchmen angle. I still want to talk about that more, because like I said, I feel like I really misstepped, and I need to reread the Authority arc that I was talking about. So that's going to be a video coming up hopefully this weekend, if I can get the chutzpah to do that, because I'm feeling kind of pink on the whole subject. But for him to have this comic that he loves so much, no matter where it's from, for me to kind of have that, and some of it came out from the editing, which I wasn't used to. Thanks again to Daedalus for doing that, but yeah, I wanted to say that, and so I'm going to do another video so I can more clearly kind of state my point. And I do realize that that Authority arc in no way has the craft or the thought put into it that Watchmen does. Few things do, obviously, but part of what I was trying to saying is whereas few things do, there are other things as well. So definitely keep a lookout for that. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of get all that out for the Watchmen stuff, especially because this is a late week, so I felt like I had some extra time. So Rachel Rising is out, and this has been a I mean, the whole thing is kind of character moments, but there was a really silent moment here, kind of playing with like the nature and death deal with some wolves. There's some crazy stuff kind of like looking at, well, they're not really zombies, they kind of, the guy kind of supposits that they're angels, and clearly that guy's, for other reasons, off his rocker. And there's a lot of stuff in here, and it's kind of this crazy psychological comic, which in a way is not what I was expecting, but I don't know why. I mean, Terry Moore tackling horror, what else is going to come out of that, right? But super book. I'm super excited to see where it goes, but yeah, I'd really recommend picking this up. The first trade, I believe, is out, which might be a good way for you to test the waters, see where you were. This is a book where I will admit the first two issues did not grab me as much as some other things, but this is so much of a slow build, and it's so there, and it's so worth it, and the moments are right. And, you know, the creator like Terry Moore hasn't earned a little bit of your trust by now. They're nuts. So Angel and Faith, good stuff, kind of playing around with a bit more moving towards the general story, not so much an arc. Interesting to see if they keep that up, more of like an episodic deal instead of these long comic arcs. That'd be kind of cool, and the whole thing's, you know, delightfully British. Alright, Batman Beyond 4, and this is a $3.99 title, the only one picking up from DC, but that is because this is an anthology title, and kind of weird considering they don't really do that anymore. And this point, it's kind of been between that and like maybe they're just kind of doing a backup. But at this point, it's a full-on anthology. There's the Justice League part up front, which is kind of a shame because the chop pages really kind of kills the pacing. But there is a heck of a cliffhanger, so there's that. Then they went into something that's really interesting. They started talking about the Hawkman of the future Justice League, but talking about how Green Lantern and Hawkgirl was his mom. There's this whole story about that, which is really interesting. It plays right out of the Timmyverse cartoons, but that kind of raises a question about continuity, so I guess this Beyond stuff's in its own continuity. I don't care. The stories are all so great. I don't necessarily care where they fit, as long as they all fit with each other and it's fun to read. And then there's the Batman Beyond bit itself, and this one kind of concluded the initial first story arc that was started, and it was kind of an interesting little touch, and they finally play on Stan, this character that was in the cartoon but they never really did much with, and this was such a great story, and it's so cool to see that come around. And at the end, there was the second part of J.T. Cruel's Superman Beyond, which is super. But it's really taking like the idea of Metropolis in the future and the idea of Superman and what it means to an advanced civilization, and it's really interesting for that, and I can't wait to see that play out. And I kind of wish this was split into 2 books so we could get more a month, so that I could get more than just like little fun-sized chunks of comics at a time. But this might be one of the first comics that I buy the issues of, then I buy the collections later because it'll be easier to process. But it's worth getting these month to month, I feel, because it's not like just a backup in the back end of the comic, but all this stuff going on. It's kind of a crazy read, and I feel like in some ways it's DC's kind of experimental title at the moment. Maybe not, but it's definitely something a little different that you're not seeing on the shelves so much anymore. So if you're a fan at all of the old cartoons, go pick up the back issues and this, because you'll like it a lot. And I think it's definitely something that's not getting enough attention with all the hubbub about DC right now. So yeah, definitely look into that. Right, the Spider-Man Annual 39, because they haven't done them for a while. This comic tries to examine what a world without Spider-Man would be like, and for the most part it seems like it's a better place. Norman Osborn reforms himself and becomes someone who helps out and takes his company to cure cancer. J. Jonah Jameson becomes a great president, and a bunch of people seem a lot happier. I don't know, and they try to justify it with the world tearing itself apart to put it back to right with Spider-Man. It seems like a weird Doctor Who episode kind of juxtaposed in here, and it's kind of supposed to be like a big, it seems like it's supposed to be one of those big events where they kind of go through Spider-Man's history to give it more meaning. But that sort of thing's been done before better. The way they do in this book, just kind of they skim over that part, so it doesn't have much pull. And it's an interesting idea, just the way they play it. It seems like the world's a better place without Spider-Man. Kind of sad. So, and of course at the end he gets to talk to Uncle Ben for a minute, and he's a great guy. I don't know, it just didn't give me the feeling of a lot of the other Spider-Man stuff that has come. This felt like an annual kind of written more for a 90s Spider-Man. It just kind of seemed off from where we've been. So, I don't know. I've been liking Ends the Earth, unlike a lot of other people lately, so I'll probably talk about that soon. But yeah, this annual, if you can skip it, I'd say skip it. I saved myself the best for last, Turtles 10. This one confirms it. This is the ultimate retelling of Ninja Turtles. There's all kinds of little tidbits in here, from a quick reference from the Silver Century to a bit more, and it kind of collects a whole lot of turtle lore and is spinning it into a familiar tale but something kind of new. most notably in this issue, not only do we see the introduction of Shredder in a way that it hasn't really been done before, because they've always tried to play off of the first Ninja Turtles comic. In this case, they're building to it much more like you would a big arch villain for any other comic, which is interesting that they can do something kind of a bit more natural, and it seems so much more impactful because it hasn't been done this way with the Turtles before, at least not with Shredder. They also have Karai right from the start. They have a lot of other things going on, and the part that really blew me away in this comic is the interaction between Donatello and Leonardo, because they get into this whole fight. It's totally in character. Leonardo's just going off of what Splinter said and how he believes the foot and all this mystical ninja stuff, and Donatello's like trying to rationalize and spin science to it and saying we need to focus on, you know, what's comprehensible. I think you're just deluded into thinking this way. And it's an interaction that made so much sense, but I've never really seen that with the Turtles before. It's usually Leo and Raph going off, and then Michelangelo and Donatello kind of have a sidebar in the peanut gallery, and that's generally the dynamic you see. And to see them fight in that way differently was just so cool. So there was that. If you're not picking this up, you're crazy. This is, I don't care whatever else, this is a book you need to be picking up. The art in it's incredible, the story's there, and it just keeps going. There's no slowing down. It is definitively one of the best books on the shelves. So there you go. But that's all for this week. I will see you soon with another comic review. I will try to get that other video out about the whole authority thing, like I said, and I'm hoping to do a few more turtle videos and other stuff. So keep going and check out more of the comic book community going on, because it's all awesome. Please, you know, like the video, favorite it, I guess, whatever. And, you know, death threats, questions, and comments below. Peace out, and have a great week.